Yo guys, how's it going? We're here for a first episode of Paris Career Mode, where it will be it'll be a normal career mode, but like it says in the title, I'll try and be the best in the city and the country, which is basically I'm gonna choose, if I can do it in like other Fifas and stuff like that, I'll choose a team where there's more than one team in that like city, and I try and take that city to be better than the other team. Like I'll take the worst team in that city and try and make them better than the other team. Like with this Paris FC, I'll try and get better than PSG and stuff like that, and try and it's basically a normal Road to Glory career mode, and just see how it goes and try and get the team better as much as possible. Is here you see some of the objectives we've got for the season. As you're also seeing that we've gone in for a pre-season tournament, which hopefully we can get some money from that. This team, to be fair, it has got quite a bit of money with it, so that always helps when trying to start a Road to Glory career mode, as you need as much money as possible. Like with this team, it's got a good team to start with anyway, but just anything to build on that. As you see, we go into the first game of the pre-season tournament. We score 7 minutes in. We fight back to make it one apiece in the first game at home, trying to just settle the nerves for the first game, but we do end up losing this game 2-1. We go straight into the second game of the pre-season tournament. Like I say, just anything in this just to try and get more money to pay for players or get youth scouts and stuff like that, because obviously youth scouts in Road to Glory career mode a big part of the Road to Glory career mode, so any little helps really. And you see we do take the lead quite late on in the game, and it does finish 1-0 and we do win the game. Here you see we get an offer for our 67 rated goalkeeper. He's quite old though, so that's the reason I was like happy to selling him. Not happy as such, but looking like if we get enough for him then I'll sell him, but if we don't then I ain't too fussed, we'll keep him. Because he is still 67 rated, and it isn't bad for us to have the 67 rated keeper with the league we're in and like the position we're looking to, obviously with this team, get promoted in the first season from League 2, I think it is. I think it's League 2. We'll just keep going, try and make as much money as possible in these first few games, try and just upgrade the squad as much as possible. Like I say, they have got a very good first starting 11, which I do like a lot of the players that are actually in the side, but I just want to, like, certain positions I might want to like maybe increase squad depth, or try and just bring in like a talented player that you know is going to bring something to the team that they ain't maybe got in that position, or just an upgrade really. But we will be trying to get as many players in as possible, because it hasn't got that much squad depth, I don't believe. Not many players that can come in and make a difference. There's a lot of like high 50s to low 50 rated players in the team, but with them I can't really use them as much, but they do go ahead and reject this offer from us to say how much we want for the keeper. They say no, and that's fine by us, we get to keep him for now, and hopefully he'll play quite well in the league if we do get to that. Then we're going to the first game of the third game of the try and get the win in this game and hopefully move us on to the semi-finals. As you see, we do take a lead, but they pull it back to one apiece, and that's how it does stay. Which means that I think we get knocked out of that cup because of that. We only finished on 4 points. If we'd won the game, I believe we would have went through, but couldn't quite do it. Unluckily, but we still get a nice amount of money from that, so that's the main thing about it, is the fact that we get the money. It's not even the fact of winning trophies there. Just wanted as much money as we can get out of it. As we do get another offer for one of our players, another older player, 65 rated, 32 years old. Like I say, it's another one of those players that if he doesn't go, I ain't going to be too bothered, because he will still be able to play in this team, as he is a 65 rated player. He'll be a good player in the middle of the park, but because he's older, if we do get the right amount of money for him, then I'm happy to sell him, bring in that money and get that extra bit of money so we can bring in that better player, whatever position that may be in. Probably find someone to replace him, probably a younger player to fill in that spot and maybe even do better than him in the first season, and then hopefully grow him as much as possible and see how that goes. Looking to sign in, I think, a right midfielder, is really I think that's a position we need to work on, and some more depth in the central midfield, because with the play, like I say, behind the first team there isn't many to come through and act like on the position when we haven't got enough squad depth at this point. We just need to improve as much squad depth as we can and try and get as much as possible. But here you do see he does get the offer accepted, which, like I say, is good for us. So we do go in and try and sign a replacement for him in Marchetta, young player, only 20 years old, I believe. Like I say, good talented player. If we can get him in the squad, then it'll be brilliant. 1.3 million. So, like I say, it is a lot of money for the player, but if he plays well enough, then I'm happy to spend that much on him, really. As we do go in for an offer of 1.1 million, just try and knock him down on the price of the player, like I will in most of the transfer offers in this, as we need to save as much money as possible to try and save that money, then put that money, extra money that we did save, onto another player, like another centre mid, like I say, a right mid, or maybe some more squad depth in the striker position as well, as I don't believe we have many strikers. We moved the offer up to 1.25 million, as they did reject the 1.1 to start with. 1.25 is still not that much, really, for a player that will be a main squad player for this season, and if he gets better and better, then he will be for seasons to come as well, hopefully. If they come back and say no, we want 1.8 million, that to me is a bit too much, I think, for me to try and sign someone. So we say 1.4, try and get that 1.4. So even though it's 400,000 to these kind of teams, that 400k is a lot. That means, like, that's enough to buy like a squad building player and stuff like that. And they said, look, we're not sure about that offer, we'll take some time and have a look at whether we actually want to sell him for that price or not. So we say that's fine, we'll go in for someone else as well, which is Pierre Lake, I believe. I don't know if that is, I probably butchered that name, but still, we do go and try and sign him. Only 1.1 million and 67 overall as well. Very good, young, talented player. With this, I'd like to sign a lot of French players, but if we can't sign a lot of French players, I ain't going to be too bothered. I'll try and sign as many as possible, but it might not be like loads and loads of players that we do sign that are French. There might be an odd few where there might be different nationalities, but I will be looking at mainly French players, as I do like to do that in career modes, where if I'm starting with a team I like to sign players that are that nationality, but if we can't then I ain't too bothered. As you see, we do offer a lower bid, but they come back and say we want 1.1, but that's only his valuation, so I'd be happy to be paying that. But they did add a sell-on clause, which I've already said I do not like doing. I hate adding sell-on clauses, and I said, look, remove the sell-on clause and you've got a deal. As I think 1.1 million plus that sell-on clause, if he does grow enough, he'll become a lot better player. If he does become a lot better player, we'll be losing a lot of money on him. But they say because we removed the sell-on clause, they want 1.45 million, which is going a bit higher now. So we say, look, we'll give you 1.2, because we need to save as much as possible. That can help us get, like I say, a lot of, like, it could be the difference between signing a player and not signing a player. And they also come back and say, look, we're going to take some time and see whether we actually want to sell him for that price or not. And that's like the only 2 times that's happened to me in career mode this season. But like in this FIFA, but it happened twice in a row, and I thought, no, this is just going to be the fact that we ain't going to be able to buy him, because they're going to come back and say, oh look, we want loads of money. But we'll have to wait and see whether they come back and say, look, we'll sell him. As we do go in for this man here, Fifa, who I've had my eye on for my Burton career mode as well. I was looking at signing him for Burton, but because I started this career mode, I thought, because he's coming from a French league, I thought it'll be ideal to buy him for a French league team as well, I guess, because as well as this, I was looking, it was either, if I didn't do this, before I had this idea of this career mode of this type of career mode where I have to be like the best in the city and the country, I was actually going to do one with I don't know how you pronounce it still, but I was going to start it with them because they seem to be able to bring up a lot of young talented players, and being a fan of Leicester, they've brought up a lot of their like younger players like Mahrez and Knockout, and I'm not sure if they brought up Kante at some point as well, but yeah, the 2 main ones in Knockout and Mahrez, and being as Fifa is Algerian, I thought he might be the next Mahrez. Probably not, but we'll see. 24 years old, 71 overall. Even though he is 24, I think he can still push on and maybe gain a few overalls. And I was looking at signing Anthony Knockout anyway, so maybe in the next season or 2 we can have a look at signing him as well, which will be brilliant if we could sign him, being as he is French and a right mid. I believe he is still in this game. But as you see, Fifa does accept the offer for Fifa as he comes in for the contract negotiations. They say he wants a crucial squad role, which I'm happy to give him because he will be a main player in this side. He'll be like one of the best rated players in the side, and hopefully he'll play the same way that I want him to, in the sense of it'll be like a Mahrez sort of role, not because of where he comes from and stuff, just for the fact that that's how I like my wingers to play, is the fact of the player that can cut inside and take a shot if he needs to, or when he can, pretty much. As they come back and say we only want him to do a 1-year deal, and I thought, well, that just isn't good enough. And I said in the previous career mode that I don't normally like doing this, but because it was only a 1-year deal, I came back and said, look, 3 years, but they said no, and he only wants to sign for a 1-year deal. But like I said at the beginning, I want to be in the promotion places this season, so hopefully by the end of the season, if we do get promoted or we are in the top half of the league, like fighting for promotion in the playoff sort of areas as well, then it will be good for us to have that 1 year, and then if we can be in them positions, maybe he'll want to sign on for longer. But if he doesn't, then he'll definitely help us in this season a lot more than the right mids we have got at the side at the moment. Even though the right mids we have in the side, I'm not saying they're bad, the wingers, because they have got one player that I am really looking forward to using in San Luis. He looks like a really promising, talented player. Even though he is a left winger, I reckon he can play on the right, and when Farrat is out, then he'll definitely be able to jump in that spot. As you do see that Farrat does sign for us. That is our first signing of the season, which is brilliant for us as we go into a training session, just like you see there, St. Louis. I'm definitely going to be like focusing on him. As you see, the two clubs do come back and say they want a bit more for the two players that we've gone in for. Marchetta was a bit too high for, like I said, what I was willing to pay. They wanted a bit too much, so I just said, you know what, we'll leave it and we'll just go in for Pierre, who does accept, and we do go into contract negotiations with him. He wants an important squad role, and he'll definitely be this in this side, as he'll be like one of the main prospects for the side. So hopefully we'll be able to bring him in this season, get him to a higher overall, maybe a 70 rated or higher if I can, and just try and improve him in any which way I can. Try and make him a more a more rounded midfielder, because I love my midfielders to be able to defend and play through balls and be able to shoot at the same time. It's how I like my midfielders to play. Is I always try and do it with this, and try and get as many like attributes up in every position as I can. As you see, they're on a 3-year deal, which is good for us, because when you think Farrat only wanted a 1-year deal, but when someone that's a young prospect, it only wants a 3-year deal, it's always going to be good. Whether they leave at that point or they don't, it'll be good for us in one way or another. And hopefully he just kicks off the season the way I hope him to do if he does actually join. As you see, he is coming from Clermont, who I don't know if they're a very big club, but they seem to have some very good young players there, and this is one of them. So I thought, you know what, we'll come in for a couple of younger players, and then maybe as time goes on in the season, if we get a bit more money or whatever, then we'll try and sign some like older players that are going to fit positions, like, and fill out the first team a bit more and a bit better, and maybe bring some experience into the squad as well. As you see, we do come into where we're paying for the wages, 3,500 we were looking for, and like I said, it's brilliant that they do take wage deductions in this FIFA now, instead of having to pay their wage, or actually most of the time just go higher. Now they're accepting like lower wages than what they were on, which is really good for me. He comes back and says 3,800, which to me is good. As you see, like I said in one of the Better Career Mode episodes, I don't normally like doing the appearance bonuses and stuff like that, because it does like decrease your money very quickly if you do it like that. But with that, if there's certain ones where I don't think they'll be able to do it quickly, then I'll accept it, because it ain't gonna take my money as quickly. But when you do remove that, you have to pay more on their wages, which I'm happy to do most of the time. Like I say, I go up to 4,000 is what he wanted on his wages, which, like I say, for a first team player, he's going to be used all the time, and it's not going to be like a waste of money where he's just going to be sitting on the bench doing nothing all game, every game. He will be a big part of the season, hopefully, and hopefully he does well, and then it'll be an even bigger part of the season, as we do accept that deal, they accept it, and that means that's our second signing of the season, which is brilliant for us. Great for us, being as we need to, like I say, just find the squad depth and find like building the first team as much as possible at the same time. If we do get another offer for another one of our players, we've got to, like I say, there's a lot of older players in this side as well as young talented players, but the young players in the side are very good. The old players are good as well, but when you're trying to go up in leagues, I don't really want to be relying on these sort of players when we can bring in some of the younger players. Plus we have, I think it's a few left mids. That's why I wasn't that bothered about letting him go, as we don't need like so many left mids. Fair enough, they can play on the right when he ain't playing on the left, but when it's 32 and only a 63 overall, we might as well be like, you know what, we'll get some money for him and then maybe sign a player that's even more worthwhile to us than he will be, and then that will just increase anything that we can have. But like I say, but if we don't sell him, it will just be more squad depth, and that's what we're looking for. But they do come back and say 310,000 and a 5% sell-on clause. And like I said before, it's the sell-on clause when it's a 32-year-old player. It's pretty pointless, because for all I know, he's either going to retire at that club, or if he does get sold, he ain't going to be sold for a lot, and it's going to be pointless. That little bit of money is going to be nothing to us by the time that they do get sold. But like I said, with younger players and more talented players, I'm happy to put on a sell-on clause on our behalf and be like, look, that means we're going to make a lot of money from that as well when you sell him on, as we do get another offer for our 67 rated goalkeeper. Just try and bring it, like I say, try and maybe move out a couple of players as well as bring a couple in, because he's older, 34 years old. I ain't that fussed about selling him, but it's just the fact that we've got to look at bringing players in to fit that role as well. So it's not that we've got to move players out as well and bring them back in and add more as well. They offer 180k for him, and that's just not good enough at all. So we asked for 400,000, which is a big leap from what they were originally asking for him. But I really think he is worth that, because even though he is 34, he's still a 67 rated keeper. Yeah, say 210,000, which is still below his asking price of 275,000. But we just try and hustle on a bit and try and get as much out of him as possible, because we need as much as possible. We say an extra 150,000 on that, as like I say, we want at least over his valuation when we sell him. We don't want to be selling him for lower than the valuation, which they come back and say 250,000 again, which still isn't good enough for us, because it's still below his valuation and he's still worth more in my opinion. And if he don't get sold, then he'll hopefully improve and play better at our club anyway, and maybe get us a few clean sheets and hopefully lead us into the promotion places by the end of the season. And you never know, when we've got a bit more money next season, then we can look to selling him a bit cheaper. But they do say no, we ain't looking to pay that price for him. But like I say, I ain't bothered about that, and that's fine. But that is the end of today's episode, guys, so thank you for watching. If you like, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more, then please subscribe. If you think there's anything I can improve in my videos, then please leave them in the comments, and peace.